Ba 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 da 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 da. What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for having this later gathering of the minds. I appreciate it. I was worn out earlier. And like I said, sometimes I crash right when the stream is scheduled for on the normal time. And I'm thinking that, yeah, maybe we should just reschedule things just for the sake of the quality of the stream. I just needed to like lay down after taking my meds and get my sanity back, I guess, be able to form sentences again, that kind of thing. Ever since my, headache and stuff, or head trauma from the lightning, which also was a headache, I just haven't been the same, and I just got to get over it. But how's everybody doing? I am good. I'm doing well, and I see some folks I haven't seen in here before, which is rad. Welcome. Come on in. Welcome back, my friends. It's the show that never ends, except for all the times it does. So, um, Lando, what's going on? It's Lando Calrissian. He just changed his name to Fish and Things with Lando. Cora, what's going on? GNC, Brian Day, Nick Schultz, Nancy B, Oscar Jungle Tanks. Man, I've been looking at some of the Oscars out there lately. They're freaking beautiful. L Fish Tanks. What's up, L? And Linda Worth, of course, you're here. You're always here. So are like you and Coro and Craig's and the number of you that are in K-Day. What's going on? Branton Lightcap. That is a nice name. I like that. Man, that sounds like some New England fiction right there. Christian So Fake. Welcome, fake Christian. I hope the real Christian never shows up. And Jimmy's P, that's bordering on inappropriate, Jimmy. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Cara, Atita, hello. Rebecca, hello. And who else? Tonight is about you guys. Sunny, hello, welcome. And Mel, what's going on? How are you? I still need to call you. I haven't. If it makes you feel better, I haven't called like anyone in my life the last few days. Passing Wind, what's up? Brian, hello. Yeah, thanks for reminding folks to hit that like button. If you do like it. If you don't like it, hit the like down button and nothing happens. I don't know that you clicked it. It doesn't list the number. I miss it. Like, let's bring back the negativity. It's not like there isn't passive aggressive and like nitpickiness all over the internet and all over YouTube. So, or in the comments. So, like, can we just bring it back? Like, just bring back it so so we can all know when we've failed at life. Randy, what's going on, man? The last few streams, I literally just talked at you guys. Didn't look at the chat, didn't ask any questions of you. I didn't need to know what your opinions were. Just kidding. Brian, hello. But this time, it's the first stream of the year. I don't have anything to present. There's no slideshow or videos or anything. I just thought, you know what? Maybe we talk about what it is want to do this year in the fish hobby, stuff like that. See if anybody had any questions, of dire need or wanted to chat about anything. This stream is for you. This bud's for you. Yeah, that's true. There actually is another dimension, aka like I don't know, puppy mill / kitty mill. And every time you hit the dislike button, they have a bridge and a sack, and they just like load the kittens in. And about every 5 minutes, they have to just throw a few sacks into the river. So don't click that button. Miss Plumber's Tub, what's going on? That's a very interesting name. I'm digging it. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It doesn't show me how many people dislike it. It does show me how many people like it. So I suppose maybe I can figure that out from that. Maybe I never really thought about that because it doesn't give you two things. It just says like how many you're like 98% of people approved it. Maybe I'm just, you know what? I'm such a lovable, likable, non-egotistical, perfect human that actually all my videos are like 98 or 99%. So I never really thought about it as like someone not liking me. Are there people out there who don't like me? You know what? It just occurred to me that that might be why I don't have 9 billion subscribers. Um, dang. So, let's see here. Amberlyn Reed broke the dislikes. She would get 1,000 likes, 10K dislikes. Really? Yikes. Let's see here. Well, thanks, Mel. It's good to see your name. I wish it was like, Zoom where I could just see everyone's face just scrolling by. However, when we do that, it becomes chaos. And some channels are about that. I'm not. I'm on my live streams. Not on my live stream. Keith Hanshaw, what's going on? Yeah, it's a good year so far. Digging it. Digging the little scene with the gangsta-ling. Let's see here. Winds aloft. What's going on? I've been watching you the last 4 months, and why would anybody give you a thumbs down? Seems like a educated and empathetic young man. Well, thank you very kindly. I don't understand what it is to feel grateful, but maybe on my 70th birthday. Need more silver. Gotta fact check that. Yeah, I'm all about the fact checking. You can fact check me all day long. I've had people go through my videos and fact check stuff, and of course I mess things up. But a lot of times it's like, oh, you didn't put an apostrophe here or there, and it's like, sorry guys, that's not the fact checking I care about. But it's good to know. Or you didn't you didn't capitalize the genus, but you did the species, which to me, like, let's talk about that. Come on, Latin. So they capitalize like Corydroas Aeneas. So the Corydroas is capitalized, Aeneas is not. It makes the species look insignificant. Let's just capitalize all of it. I really don't get that, but holy smokes, we got the first super chat of the new year from Fishcapades. What's going on? Lisa with the goldfish. Thank you so very much for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. I'm gonna get a new car with that. Thank you. Matchbox, maybe even 3. I actually used to really like those as a kid. You know what I miss? Micro Machines. I haven't seen those in forever. I mean, I'm assuming they make them still somewhere. Is that just hair? What's going on here? Yeah, just my weird brown, blonde, silver hair. It's odd hair. Bashir, hello. I subscribed to your channel as soon as I saw your live with Joey. Well, that video has I think it stands at like 300 or so, and it kind of hovers right there, like it tells you how many people subscribed after watching that video or during watching that video. And I lost like 4 or 5,000 over that video total, and I gained like 4 or 5,000 plus 300. So like whatever. It sorted my community very nicely, actually. But I would have been crushed if that was my top video about all the fish stuff we research and talk about here. And yeah, it just would have been a bummer if they were like, Yeah, that's your worth, is arguing with another personality. You guys having a little hissy fit with one another. Uh, have I bred rainbow shiners? You know, I haven't. I got to be honest. I had about 7 of them last year. That was the first time I had them. I got them to turn the breeding colors, and then I never really made a big, strong effort to collect eggs or watch for eggs or whatever. But I think they probably would have spawned if I had a bigger tank for them at the time. They're only in a 10 that had like a hang off the back filter where I'd put a pipe that actually, it was the coolest piece, and I broke it, and I'm really bummed. And maybe somebody could 3D print this for me slash everybody. But it would be a piece that catches the water on a hang off the back filter, either at the mouth of that or at some sort of other juncture or bottleneck, maybe even above the impeller. But then you'd still need enough going off to the side to keep the filtration aerobic and everything. But if we could make something like that 3D printed that would snap on, I would love having that again, because I had just one filter that had the ability, you could put something where the water fell down, and it would funnel it into a pathway like a pipe. So you could have it come out as flow, like a little power head, which was cool, because otherwise it's just a waterfall. Ada, or Ada, but I'm assuming Ada, what's going on? Hello from Texas, love your channel. Wonderful information. Thank you so much. Everyone's being so nice tonight. Well, thank you. Welcome. Welcome back. Shane, hello. Sketty, what's going on? How are you? Military micro machines? Yeah, Brody, I used to have those, man. Little tank where the turret goes up and down. It didn't spin around ever, but it would go up and down. The Abrams one was pretty sweet. Or what? No, it wasn't an Abrams. It was whatever we used right before that in like the Gulf War era that got cut. But I remember I had a Supra. I had a little white Supra that was a micro machine that I thought was the coolest car. I was like, when I get old enough to be a person, I'm gonna get a Supra, and I'm gonna crash it and wrap it around a pole. Jeff Kane, what's going on? Spellbreaker, how are you? Please do one video about pea puffer, the tiny. They are killer carnivorous, kill anything. They are not peaceful community fish. Let's talk about that. I have not had them kill everything in a tank. I've had them fight with other fish once in a while, especially if there's a territory issue. So if there's like 3 or 4 puffer fish, and actually more like 5. If there's like 4 or 5 puffer fish or more, and they have a corner that they've kind of scoped out, I've seen them like beat up on a betta, or I've seen them beat up on slow fish like pleco, young plecos, and hill stream loaches. Have seen that. I've never seen them actively chase or bite or anything like that any other community fish. Has anybody here? I mean, I'd love to know. I've worked in pet stores and stuff, so I'm curious if that's a new behavior, or if you have like Cujo of the pea puffers. So let's hear what folks have to say. Sketty, all right, you have a wonderful night, my friend. Garrison Hayes, hello, Alexander, growing red Ludwigia, and it's doing the thing where it reaches the top and bends. Can you go into more detail about how you get it to grow out of water? Yeah, so basically my preferred method, like if you have enough light, it will just crest on its own. It usually will just crest on its own after it grows along the top for a little ways, but sometimes it helps to have a stick, or to just honestly, once it's grown enough that you've got some slack on it, just drape it up to the rim and just kind of hook it on its own leaves onto the rim. And then it should, from that point, it'll wither and kind of look funky and not so good for maybe a month or two, and then all of a sudden it'll grow very rigid and up straight. And hopefully, if you've got enough light and you keep it on if you keep the light on anywhere from around 11 to 15 hours, you should be able to get it to flower no problem too. Sometimes it'll do it for less, but you got to have those long days. And so that's why I recommend, if you're doing immersed plants, a lot of times it's best to have an excess light, something like this little guy. That you could, it's not even that much light, but it's enough that it will grow towards it. Maybe it gets most of its light on the lower leaves from your aquarium light, but you could get that or a blue-green grow light kind of thing up above the plant if you're really trying to like flower them or whatever. But if you just want it to grow up and above, to be a few inches above the tank and look jungly, it should do that on its own eventually, or you, like I said, you can help it a little bit. Let's see here. Who else? Bashir says, it was great because I had an issue with Joey after I bought his book and he never shipped it to me. That's interesting. I've never heard that before. Yeah, I got like 30 or 40 messages of people telling me that. The worst part was, I didn't post that stream live right away. I was like, man, the guy had a mental breakdown. I just didn't want to promise him on the live that I wasn't going to post it if maybe I wanted to edit it or use it for a real reason. Then I got the cease and desist. Then my channel got canceled before I even had it posted. Then other people had caught the tail end because we bickered for like 15 or 20 minutes. And they recorded parts of it, and people were taking his side or mine or whatever, but they were sharing clips of it on like Reddit and stuff, and then linking it to like fake accounts or like, one video accounts on YouTube, which he actually had a team that he hired to take all those down by going to court over it, or the DMCA takedown or DMCR takedown. And then basically I said, fine, take me to court, whatever. In an arbitration at Palo Alta, they basically threw it out before it even got there because he claimed it was his stream. But when all that went down and he threatened me and my wife and yada yada, I decided that I'm putting that stream back up unedited because I found out he had done several similar things to other streamers. All right, enough of that. But yeah, it's a repeated thing. Dude needs some help or some wake up calls or something. Oh, thank you so much, Ian, man. That's very sweet of you. I hope you and your lady have nothing but the greatest New Year, nothing but the best for you. Thanks, Ian, man. Same to you and yours. Yeah, same to everybody on here, honestly. There's nobody on here other than maybe that Fish Fam link bot. Maybe he needs to have a bad year in bot years, whatever those are. Just pulling his chain. Just pulling your chain, computer man. Carlos, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Let's see here. Are you working with any Anubias hybrids? I am. So I have a big, massive Anubias Cophifolia fraseri, which is kind of a moot point, same plant, but they're different cultivars, and genetically, they've been doing genetic work on a lot of different plants, and they were looking at like Brassilica, like kale and broccoli and all those different plants, Brussels sprouts, that came from one wild plant. And they found that the genes can differ. 20% of the genome can differ in each cultivar, even though it's still listed as the same species. So it's kind of interesting. You could have like Java Fern, Windlove, and Thor's Hammer, and one of them could be such a mutation, and it's just been trimmings and not even like pollinating, like not even fertilizing cultivation, and yet it's so different, even though they're all just Java Fern. Let's see here. Oh, I'm getting behind. Um, oh, 300 eggs. What did you have breed, Nancy? I missed it. That 300 is a lot of whatever it is. Drifters Workshop, what's going on? Keith, hello. Yep, Aquatics, cheers. Um, Brian Day says, I've been told that they could be little bullies. Popular opinion, I don't like cichlids, and I imagine people who keep them have big pickup trucks. Neo Veritas. I like the dwarf cichlids. I've never lived in a place where I've got like big tanks. I suppose if I did, I might want them, but it seems expensive to feed like a big group of them, and they're kind of high maintenance the way they pull everything out and reorganize stuff. And they're just such a smart fish that you want to make sure that you give them a good enclosure. I wouldn't say that about cichlids, though. The whole I bet you drive a big pickup truck. That's like your gars and your red tail catfish and your bichers. And I'm not saying that's everyone. There's plenty of people who have them for the right reasons and take good care of them. But there's lots of idiots who go buy them for $10 at PetSmart or whatever, and bring them home and put them in a tank that's way too small. In fact, maybe my neighbor's watching. Are you on here, Sushi? That's funny because his name is Sushiel, but Sushi is what we call him. And he has gotten into tanks because of me. Like I've got the MTS triggered in the guy bad, but he he has bought 6 different types of eels, freshwater eels. He's got like the tire track. He's got like the spiny eel. He's got the fire eel. He's got peacock eel. Like you name it, and he's collecting these eels. It's wild. And they're all in a 55, which at least that's better than like, a 20 long. But he's definitely he sees the arowanas and pacus and stuff, and he's like, I need that. I need 10. I need them now. And he does drive a big. Drove a big lifted truck for a while, and then now he drives a Cadillac Escalade with a straight line muffler that is like. It sounds like an old diesel boat when you're like out like some Chris Craft race cigar boat or something, like an old engine that doesn't run super smooth anymore but has a lot of power. Anyways, hey Ian, man, 32 months, almost 3 years you've been a member. I think that's as long as I've had it on. I think 34 months is how long I've even had the ability. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And yes, it's live, Ian. That's why I'm talking to you. I didn't preemptively guess when you'd be typing, although I am pretty skilled. Pretty skilled. Um, yeah, Rainbow Shine. Oh, Rainbow Shiner. They had 300 eggs. Oh, very cool. Yeah, man, if you can get them to hatch, that's wonderful. I know a lot of people who have bred them. There's a guy, Phil Kalinsky, and not Kalinsky, but Kalinsky, and he has spawned all sorts of native fish, but that and daces and shiners. He uses tumblers, I believe. Yeah, tumblers, and then a lot of oxygenation in his water. But if you candle the eggs, which is flashlight, whatever, phone light, and then hold it up to it, they should be slightly amber, but not foggy white. If they're foggy white, or fuzzy, then they're no good. And that's for all fish pretty much, because the proteins that form the fish tend to be amino acids that are a yellowish color. Spellbreaker, there's the name. Dan's Fish is the most expensive online store I never saw before, but Aquahuna is incredibly cheaper. Almost looks like a scam, but I bought all my fish. Aquahuna is based here in Seattle. They're the wholesaler that sells to all the fish stores in town. Now, I don't have a lot of bad things to say about them, but they get their stuff the same place as like Petco, PetSmart. A lot of it's from the same two distributors. It's a little basement. It was a little basement shack, and kind of your mom and pop fish store, concrete vats, and everything was like on a system with the next tank over. And then now I think they've changed quite a bit. Corey partnered with them for a while, and now he's partnered with Dan's Fish instead, actually. But he pushed them and like made their website. Jerry, the guy who owns it, like has no interest in that. So it's kind of interesting how much he helped that company, Corey from Aquarium Co-op. And I would say that the guy knows his stuff about fish and everything, and he treats them. But part of the issue was he's only got he only had 2 employees forever, and I think he hired some more. But he is inexpensive, and it's where he gets his fish is why. And Dan could be that expensive or that inexpensive. Plus I'd say he'd still have to add almost $1 a fish for shipping from where he's at. But the thing about Dan is out in the middle of Wyoming, which is the craziest place to build a fish retailer, but it works for him. He's willing to do the drive to Denver, or I guess maybe Salt Lake he could do if Denver was down or whatever. But he sources stuff from the wilds, and then now he's got a network of so many home breeders that have lines. So if you're someone who just needs a community tank in your living room full of neon tetras or glowfish or whatever, like you don't need Dan's Fish. Go to your local store, go to PetSmart or Petco. I'd medicate stuff always with them. Probably most local stores too, honestly, unless you know that they're a step above and beyond. I mean, Aquarium Co-op used to do 3-week quarantines on everything, and they don't do that. They plop and drop now for over half the fish, because they know that there's a lot of fish that will have 1 or 2 problems consistently, and they're willing to take the chance that it's that 1 in 100 times that it has some other problem. So I mean, some people locally though have gotten frustrated that you never used to see Aquarium Co-op with a tank with the lights out, which is incredible for a fish store. I'm not like casting shade on them for that. And I think it makes sense at some point that you wouldn't quarantine everything and also treat everything prophylactically. In fact, I don't believe in prophylactically treating all your fish, because they've already been treated a lot of their life. If they were farm raised, if they're wild, they may have been treated at the exporter or at the transshipper or both. And then they come in and they've already been in 2 hands, and or maybe on a boat or backpack or in a car, in a cooler, whatever. And they can be in really rough, stressed out shape. And some fish are the kind that just can't handle that. They need consistency. Others are fine, and their tanks, like plecos and stuff, are usually pretty tough. But for Dan's Fish, if you need to know the lineage of your guppies and that there is nothing in the line that's going to throw funky, and you're working on a project, or if you want a wild goodied that is now extinct in in the wild and only exists in captivity, and you want a line that he has vetted and it's not at all been bred again and again and again, just from like 3 fish originally or something. Like, it's that the person who owns the lines had it 20 years, and they have made the effort every 2 or 3 years to get new stock from other breeders and switch, that kind of thing. That's the level that Dan goes to. So it's for real serious fish people. Or if you have a variation of a fish that is so uncommon and it's a certain selection point from a certain part of one lake, even, he'll have that kind of thing. And that's why I really like Dan's fish. But yeah, it's really expensive. It's definitely a luxury, so to speak. Um, let's see here. Spellbreaker, I bet you there are a bunch of cichlids you would think are pretty if you saw some of them. Um, I can understand why some people may not like some of them, though, for sure. I mean, especially like the Lake Malawi ones are really cool when you first see them, and then it's kind of like, oh, they kind of all look the same. But like, I mean, the fact that a discus is a cichlid, an angelfish is a cichlid, your acaras, cribs, I mean, all the way up to like all your, green terror and like black devil, red devil, all that kind of stuff. That's all cichlids. I mean, they're the most diverse group of fish out there, other than catfish, other than Loricaridae, well, Kerrison might be past them. Obviously, Cyprinidae has more species, but I would say less phenotypes. Stephen P, what's going on, man? Always good to see you wetting your plants in my stream. All right, let's see here. Just okay. So if you guys have a question, do the at Alex or an at Fishery. At Fishery is better because it'll highlight it. And if you're a member, it actually sorts them for me now too, which is rad. Okay, so Alex, average fishing keeper. We need to plan a day for the plecos and goodeids. You talk. Oh man, I would be stoked. I got plants or money or whatever. Just take my money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Daniel Ingalls, hello, welcome. I like goodeids, the way they look and everything. They can be kind of rough. That's for sure. Shane said, what did he say? All right, so I'm going to scroll down unless it's a question. If you have a question for me, let me know by at Fishery. Just one more fish. Oh yeah, I'm glad you could catch the live too. Right on. Glad you're here. I'm glad everybody who comes by. It's so good, to get to chat. Like the people who are consistently, y'all are my like friends. Like I don't have a friend group I don't hang out with anymore. Arc Knight, what's up? Gamer One, what's up? Yeah, Aquatic Arts, that's the other one I do business with. Shipping is brutal on all of it, especially since lockdown. Both of them, it's gotten brutal, but it's brutal everywhere if you get overnight shipping for anything. But really, I believe that's how you need to ship. That's how you need to ship. No, Randy, I don't really keep many killifish. I have kept some, like blue galaris and some pancheks. What is it? The pancheks, de Dingas. Is it Dingasi or something like that? Or Druzii is the other one too, I think. The peach chin, the pink chin, and the orange chin. I've kept those three, oddly enough, just because I had a friend who had them and like was into that specific group. But I wish more people around here had them, because lately I've been finding I can't find a lot of the fish. Like I want to order stuff from Dan or from Aquatic Arts, but the truth is I have my wife and I need to thank her. I got to give her the credit, because she makes more than me, but she's been covering like the mortgage pretty much completely, because she's been doing the medical bills, like paying some of my medical bills. I'm trying to pay more. That's the goal on the channel, is to help me pay off that, and then once I get out from under that, it's like, okay, then we can actually just like reinvest the money into the channel again. But right now I've got like over 8 grand in medical bills, plus we need a brand new roof on the house. But I try to pepper in, obviously, like for instance, super chats, they go directly um, to like reinvesting in the channel. But when you guys buy stuff from Aquatic Arts or from Shrimp Envy, or from different places that I have either a friendship with or an affiliate link with, then a lot of times what happens is I get money, and I can get money, or I can get twice as much money in stock of fish. And I'll do that so that I can do species profiles, keep a new fish. Sometimes I'll pass it off after like a year or two, or after I spawn it. But then it lets me have essentially a giant fish room with 20 or 30 tanks, when you normally need 100 tanks if you were going to keep all of those. And Arthur Hen, hello, welcome. Uh, um, Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. I really do. Corey Equus, they are a little hard to breed. Yeah, they're probably in the 5 tiers of breeding that I sometimes see broken down. Like some people do 3 tiers, some people do 5. They're usually either a 4 out of 5 or they're a 2 out of 3 in hardness to breed. It's because they're seasonal spawners. So what you need is you actually need some water or something with the correct pheromones or hormones that are seasonally appropriate to really, I mean, they'll do it otherwise too, but you need to do the whole letting your water evaporate down out in the tank slowly, like turn the heat up in the tank to like 84 or 86, and then let the water evaporate off of like a 20 long or something with sand on the bottom, and then feed them heavy protein like maybe 2 weeks before you're ready to do the big water change. If you're really trying to get them sassy, what you can do is you can separate the males and females. And then what you do is you come back with water that's like 75 degrees or 70 degrees, and you fill up that 50% empty tank, that tank with only 5 or 6 inches of water left in it, and you fill it up with water so that once mixed with that warm water and that emptiness, the water should come out to about like 78 or 76 degrees, and then put on power heads. And that's usually how you're going to encourage them to think that the dry season is over and that it's raining. They need to have babies, because the puddles they're stuck in all of a sudden have started to connect to the rivers. And if they were in a little pond or lake, all of a sudden that the water's starting to rise. And within a week or two, sometimes even a day, if it's a massive monsoon or something, they're connecting. And that's why all those little fish that live on the forest floor of jungles and things, they get ready to move and quick. And Corys are very quick spawners. Their eggs are ready in like 3 days usually. Sometimes 2, sometimes 6, depending on the species, but 3 is kind of the norm. With like Aeneas, Sturbi, Trilineatus, Julii, Most of the ones I've spawned, I think Habrosis were a little longer, and Rabati were a little longer when I spawned those. Panda Cories are super quick too. But in any case, yeah, it's yeah, that's what I would have to say about it. Is it's a seasonal thing. So if you can get plecos to breed, and you can get man, my tooth is so like this tooth that was always big, and then the other one broke that had a crown on it, and then the other one's missing. It's been pulled out next to it. The other one's been pulled out. So now I'm waiting to get them all finished to get pulled money wise. And then I got to go and get another 10 implants, and they'll do this, and then it'll be great. But it's been such a long process. And right now, sorry guys, I'm really self conscious. So I keep seeing my tooth, and I just feel like such a, well, I don't know what the word would be. Hillbilly? No, such a, uh, not yeah, I won't even go there. But you know, I feel self-conscious. Um, let's see here. YFI gifting memberships. Wow, thank you so much. I do really appreciate that. That's so nice because it gives people a chance. Um, I mean, it really gives people a chance to try out the channel. In the thought too that like they can go and see if they want to listen to the podcast for them. I don't know if you guys all know, but YouTube actually has a like podcast setting where you can listen to the audio, and if you pay for it too, then you could do that with any video. If you have the premium version and you don't get ads, which is like $10, I think. But there's also a podcast version, and I've got stuff up there, and I've also got a playlist that I've made just for normal any viewer that is friendly to audio. So even if there are images in the video that are probably helpful, they're videos I feel you would still totally get the most important information out of from the video. And or from the audio rather, like from like the video as a whole conceptually, and not you don't need just one piece, but together they're better. Then if you're a member, go to the community tab and look for episodes of Fishery, episodes 1 through 200 and some, and those are 5 to 15-minute episodes. Some maybe there's a few 20-minute episodes that are specifically about things that are going on in the hobby, science-wise, new species, discoveries, things like that. And yeah, that is pretty. I don't know. It's something I need to get back onto. Also, like getting some new episodes recorded, but I feel like I got kind of far ahead of myself. But members get access to all that for $1.99, so they get to try that out and whatnot. And also, just if I do a poll on the community tab or whatnot, or if I'm doing giveaways, with all my giveaways, I always do them by random number drawing. And unless it's a giveaway live, if it's a longer term thing, I always give 10 points to people who are members, 5 points to subscribers, 1 point if you showed up in the comments for the giveaway. And then something else might be like if you bought from Aquatic Arts, I'll give them another 5 points. And then I assign random numbers in the comments so that you may have 1 through 25 if you're a member who's ordered something before. So you have much higher odds. You've got a 25 times higher odd than somebody who just drop in an entry. So I try to do that and make it fair. Like wait, those of y'all who are loyal to the channel for things like that. But you can't do pay to play, so it can't be explicitly like only you guys are winning because you're members. Like technically that would be illegal. So it has to be open to anybody, but the odds can be slightly different. You can buy more raffle tickets is the general rule. What would I put in a heavily planted 90-gallon? Ooh. With Senegal Biochars 125, I would put Jim sweet tanks. I would say like rope fish, honestly. They live together in the wild. Yeah. Hey Shane, thanks. You used the code Fishery15 at Aquatic Arts. Yeah. Thank you for one, because that will give me credit towards ordering some fish soon. And two, it got you 15% off. Plus, they'll usually throw in more fish. Like if they're high on any stock, they'll throw in, instead of one extra, they'll give two extra to any of my viewers. Stuff like that, which is nice. Um, but uh, let's see here. Yeah, TM Aquatics is great. The Bod Rocks are really good, like actual skilled fish breeders. There's a lot of people online, myself included, who I wouldn't say. I mean, I am a master breeder due to the like national certification that you need to get through most clubs, which is, I think I've bred 260 some species now. I'd have to go look at my notes, but that it's a lot, I guess, but there's lots of people out there who bred 600, 700, and they breed like hard to breed stuff, and those are the people, Regina and Eric Bodrock and, Select, um, Select Aquatics in Denver, which is, I'm spacing on his name. Um, but anyways, yeah, there's some people that are out there that really aren't that big on YouTube that are definitely the ones you want the info from. Gary Lang is someone who is very, very accomplished. Yeah. Let's see here. Zebra Acara. Oh, nice. Those Zebra Acaras from Redfish Bluefish are so nice. Need more solar. Yeah, I need to go up and visit Jason, the owner, and go see what he's got cooking, because man, he's the first person to ever have those that I saw in person, and I was impressed. Yeah. Ooh, Palamas Gold Dust Biochar. Very cool. Um, um, it's important to dechlorinate in some way, whether with carbon filters or aging water or chemically dechlorinate. Chlorine will absolutely kill your fish, and bacterial filtration. Yes, definitely. Um, Evaporative dechlorination is good unless you have uh, the chloramine in the water. It can linger and stay for days, and that's bad. But hopefully you can find that out and they don't change that. Although I have met people where they've changed that, like their municipality has changed that on them, and suddenly they have to worry about that. Being a new issue when before they didn't. And when they do the water change, that's why I don't like doing a day where I do all my water changes if I can help it, because you just never know. Like I had one day where after 20 years of it never happening, we had ammonia come through the line at like a high rate to the point where I don't test it. Um, yeah. Uh, Michelle, hello, by the way. Uh, Frontosa's tank mates. Man, those are rough fish. Asya, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Uh, and Roy, hello. Yeah, I'm still here after the last year. The universe tries its best to beat me down and destroy me every year, and I prevail. Uh, Fluoride and city water too. Yeah, fluoride doesn't seem to have a huge issue with fish in a like death sense, but I wouldn't be surprised if it had some endocrine effect or some like behavioral effect. That would not surprise me at all. Fish are very sensitive to any chemicals. In fact, we know now that the waters we use, most of us, If you live in an urban or suburban area, you've got everything from illicit substances all the way to the SSRIs and birth control that is definitely impacting our fish. The birth control can actually throw things off. So I understand if people want to be using water from their rain barrel or from their, um, like a deep water spring or a well or whatnot. I get when people are picky about that for sure. Um, and correct, Michelle. Chloramine will not evaporate. It's not a suspended gas, or it's not a free gas like that. And you have to you can catch it though with anything that would catch chlorine and get it out that way by basically rolling a big ball of molecules of the stuff stuck together and then getting rid of it. Plants can also handle it. They can or plants and bacteria, I should say, can disconnect the atoms basically and reorganize them in the way they need to. Humans cannot, fish cannot, clearly. Shane, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, exactly. Coro, yeah. I mean, my bite has changed so much in the last like 3 years. Like it's so bad. I don't have molars up top other than two right here, and then so then I'm missing a couple, and then I got one, and then I got one, and then two broken one. It's so bad. They're all like crowns and stuff. Is the problem because when I got hit, it was like a dish in an oven being thrown into a cold sink of water, and it just. And so even if the teeth looked okay at the time, a lot of them were really sore and felt like they had like a cavity or something. And when they did the X-rays, they could see when they zoomed in that it was like these spider web patterns. And they're like, well, it's held together, but it fractured into a bunch of pieces. Well, those pieces then started to break, and like little bacteria got in between them, and yeah, went downhill within a number of months to years. So out of the 19 teeth that got busted up from my accident, uh, 18 of them now have either broken, been pulled out, or yeah, have been broken or pulled out. Yeah, there you go. You could be even, Steven. I didn't even mean to make that rhyme, but um, yeah, going I just trying something new. I'm actually promoting a video. Like YouTube said, like try our new feature. Creators can spend $20 or $50 or $1 billion. But I threw $20 at it to see if I could promote the history of the Betta domestication video, because that was one I researched literally for years before I could make that, and waited for the genetic research, and then made the video. And I think it has 6,000, like maybe 6,000 views, which isn't like bad at all, but it'd be great if it were like 100,000, because it's definitely the most coherent, cohesive, and thorough Betta history by a long shot. Like there's nothing that comes close to it online. I had to go so many sources, so many years, so many calls to ichthyologists and archaeologists, emails and stuff to find out information about that video. Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, fisheries were great. The reason those came about was because of the morning show. every day she had a show, and I would get up and hang out with everybody on the show. And I did 5. I'd record 5 at the beginning of the week. Now the thing is, Greg Sage, that was the name I was looking for way back. Okay, I'm skipping all the way down because I'm way behind again. All right, I'm down to Aaron Estes, which hello, and Brody's Bettas, hello. Salient Aquatics, hello. DT, hello. Glad you guys liked it. Fishery, did you hear about the stingray, first marine fish declared extinct due to human activity? Yeah, I did see that. There's probably more things than that extinct. Some of the Australian large, some of the brackish fish too are definitely gone now. How do you learn to research stuff to do in depth? I actually have a video called, I think it's 12. I don't know why I picked 12, but uh, Internet Research Resources, um, which is real nerdy, but places like FishBase, places like the Patent Office, looking at books that are out in print but aren't scanned online, hard to find stuff, expensive stuff. I swap with people. But basically, my long answer is I learned to vet sources. And at a certain point, you have to just take a source for what they say, but you know for a fact if a source is dated to a certain time as a historian. I mean, I have a degree in archaeology and history. The anthropology, cultural was the first part of the archaeology studies. So I guess I have a cultural anthropology degree, a history degree, and then I started a master's. Never finished the credits for the master's, but I finished the thesis, the 78-page thesis, and basically all the degree requirements except for math and like 4 other classes that I would have needed to enroll another quarter, maybe 2 for. And life just happened. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take a year off. And then, yeah, it just didn't happen. Ari Cat, right on, getting Metaframe. That's sweet. Carlos, thank you so much. You have, oh, that's awesome. You love the Betta episode. You have it on replay all the time. Well, thank you. And thank you so much for the super chat. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I want to do one like that on guppies that's like better edited and everything now because I have that ability. Like today's video, even though the concept took me 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I actually spent like 12 to 15 hours straight editing that last night and today. I stayed up all night. And I was like, this is just to like use, so you won't get copyright struck. So you got to call anybody or message anybody if you need like, oh, can I borrow your picture of an Oscar? Like I used Kenny's Oscar P. Its name is P because it has a perfect letter P in its pigment on its tail. But it's this massive albino Oscar. It's like over a foot long now. And he's got big old hands because he's like 6'2" or 3. And even him like with his hand like on the screen or on the glass, you can see the fish. He couldn't like palm the fish. Ryan Massey, welcome. Thank you so kindly for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Oh, Betta Embolus, that is a cool Betta. I think I need one in my life. Anything special to know? No, most of the Bettas, just beware that they can jump. Some of them actually are more chill than domestic bettas because domestic bettas, you have to remember, some lines were bred for fighting and for a long time. And then some were bred for the last 300 years ornamentally. That's only been going on since the first unified king of Siam his family started breeding them for like what they called the lotus or flower bettas. And what they did is they got several species, and they got the Mahachiensis and the Orientalis and the splendens, and they crossed all of those, and that gave the half moon look. And before that, there were half moons that were being sold in like San Francisco. Frank Locke sold them in the 1938, I think, is when he got the Cambodiensis, is what it was called. But it turns out that, yeah, it was just another species. It wasn't a domestic thing at that point. But Thailand had some that it kept to itself. Um, but yeah, back to the wild betta thing, is most of them, other than like some of the big ones like macrostomas, they don't really need real special care. You just find out if they're a mouth brooder, a bubble nester, or a scatterer, or if some of them kind of go in between. And also find out if they eat their young readily versus if they're kind of indifferent. And those bits of knowledge are really all you need to know once you've got your basics down for any given betta. They need humidity to develop their labyrinth organ. So you want to put humidity in the room or in a lid on the tank. Live food's good. Infusoria for the babies, or green water's great. All the people I know who successfully bred macrostomas for profit, when those were going for like $300 a fish, and everyone was trying to buy them so they could sell them, right? Well, my buddy Chase, he just had a tank where he left the light on 24/7, and it was so green you couldn't see this deep into the tank, and it was a big tank, and he had just hundreds of babies in there from multiple generations. It was so densely green, the fish couldn't see each other, and the parents couldn't see the babies to eat them. So he'd just have to blindly take a net and then have all this green goo, and then would like have a bunch of fish in the net and sort them out that way. Yes, some bettas will jump from tank to tank like that. In fact, they evolved, the labyrinth fish in general, the gouramis, the tenopomas, the bettas, likely also a lot of catfish too. They have almost like what's like the Johnston's organ, where a snake can taste like bring the smells back, or whatever you want to call them, the molecules back to its tongue, and taste. They can also see like UV light and things like that. Well, some fish can do the UV light thing, but anyways, the special organ part of things, the labyrinth organ allows them to smell things also. And even though it's an outgrowth of like the ear canal and sinus, essentially, it has sensors in it that can tell like ozone and other things. But ozone is ions of fresh water. Jacobson organ. Yeah, I don't know why I said Johnston. I had something brain fart. Yep, Jacobson's organ. Thank you, eyeball pirate. And the ozone, we are really sensitive to. Humans have the ability to find water in the desert remarkably well. Like if you blindfold someone who's thirsty, put them in the desert, and there is like a breeze and there's an oasis out there, or the sea or something, humans can close their eyes and give their best guess as to what it is. Now, I don't know how this holds up when you're raised in like a community like an urban setting or whatever, but it used to be, it used to just be something we can sense 1 part per billion of it. And there's some fish that can do like 1 part per trillion of certain scents. And they can sense that too, because it means moving water, splashing water, ozone, or water ions. It means that the rain started. Just like petrichor, we can taste that or smell that extremely well, like very few parts per million in the air. Whereas a lot of things don't care about it. But any fish that could end up in a jungle on the forest floor, dried up in mud, they definitely sense it well. Almost all of them. I need to grab a little sip just for my throat here. But I'll BRB, guys. Going G, what's up? You flick your tongue to sense for pizza. There you go. And my shirt, it's a tie-dye. My wife and I went to a rave in the middle of the day because we're too old to go to raves in the night now. So we went in the morning at like when everyone was still partying from New Year's. On New Year's Day, we went and went for like 2 or 3 hours because my friend got us on the guest list. And we went to this like warehouse / club thing in the industrial part of Seattle where there's probably a few thousand, maybe 2,000 people partying, listening to music. There's a DJ that like mixes 70s like Grateful Dead and Led Zeppelin and like Fleetwood Mac with like more electronic beats. And then there was your typical oons, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But I wore a tie-dye over my clothing, and this is one of my favorite tie-dyes that I've had. This one's made by a guy in South Carolina, or North or South Carolina, but his name is Tie-Dye by Todd. And he's on Etsy, and he makes these insane patterns that like no one else that I've seen can pull off, really. And this is, believe it or not, guys, it's almost 20 years old, this specific shirt. 16 years old, 17 years old. And yeah, this he would call the water ent or water demon. I always thought it just looked straight up like a skull. But I mean, pretty crazy with tie-dye. Like back in the day, everyone was like, oh my God, what is that? Like no one had ever seen anything quite like that. Yeah, and he's still alive. Tie-dye by Todd. Hold on, right back. Suki, where are you? Suki! Suki, kitty, you around? Hung out with my cat all day, and now she's nowhere to be found. I'm gonna be bad, you guys. I'm gonna be real bad. I got 2 Dr. Peppers in a night. I'm gonna be wired. But yeah, we went and did that. That was kind of fun. My wife and I haven't been out for anything like that in a long time. All right, guys. You know what time it is. Boom. I want to look at some fish real quick before we wrap this up. Man, look at their success rate. That is unheard of. Most places are like, if they get a 90%, they're like, that's good. Aquatic Arts, I think, is like 94 or 95, which is still good. But 98.52 with where they are and everything, that is nuts. So we'll look at their new stuff soon, but what I want are these, the gold dust, either those or these. Like, I don't know which one, but he keeps getting these in, and I really think they're beautiful. These aren't colored up or anything right now, but these were in the thumbnail. These Alto Sinu, or Sino. And I can't find almost any information about this darn river, the Alta Sinu or Sino. The interesting thing about that river is that river in northwestern Colombia or central western Colombia. It is a region that the paramilitary guys controlled for like 50 years. And it's just wild that protected that region. But when they needed light in Medellin in the 1984, so during the height of the Pablo Escobar kind of era, They're not quite his height, but the height of that activity going on. Like then through like 1990 or so, they built a big dam on the Altesino river, and it made a giant lake. And even to this day, go on Google Maps or Google Earth, and there are pictures in Colombia of the town that are like retro that people have pinned that are at the bottom of the lake. And it's like along the edge of the lake, there's still a few places that says they're open, like a school and this and a that. And there's like it's not there. It got flooded. It got soaked by the water when they made the dam and when it turned into a reservoir. It's really interesting. Um, so yeah. Uh, but I can't find a lot of information on the region. It's just like it's like off the map. It's off the books. I've looked in Spanish. I go to Google Translate and I translate to Spanish. Um, and I can see where the river is. There's some pictures of it. I can't find any readings. None of the species that live there, other than birds. There's a few like ornographic papers on it. And yeah, Colombian Atlantis. That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of parts of Colombia that are just not traveled at all. Um, yeah, true Julies are more difficult to spawn. If you have the ability to do that thing where you let the water evaporate out for like a month or two, and even add catappa leaves, let the water get hard, add a little bit of crushed coral if you need to or something. Um, like mimic what a river going down would do. And then all of a sudden you dim things. Some people go as far as even using the flashing lights for on the like fluval setups that have them or the aqua skies. uh, I don't know if it makes a difference, honestly, that part. But and then if you can though, get either a Loricaridae species like another pleco or another cory to spawn. You get like a gallon or two of that water and put that in the tank. That works better than almost anything because it just signals them that it's like game on. But a lot of them have to know um Coro. Yeah, I know, right? Um a lot of them though, um what was I gonna say? On the I got distracted by the auto correcting thing that it did. Oh, nice CP. Red fin penguin tetras, 35 each. Oh man, that's cool. Those are neat fish. Those are definitely neat. Um, yeah, bring sheet metal into your room to make thunder. Yes, totally. Yeah, it's the hormones. So anything in Loricaridae species. So even like an ancestris will really work well. But I found even angelfish work well. So I think there's some level of testosterone, estrogen, like whatever the mix is, progesterone, maybe human or not human growth, but fish growth hormone. Um, those sort of things that are um, in the water for most fish. Like they've just evolved similarly that way. Um, yeah, I have the duck problem also. I'm like, come on, nobody says duck that many times or ducking. Um, uh, autocorrect. Now, the other thing, if you're really stuck with the fish, an important thing though is that live blackworm or bloodworm, if you can get them live, like live worms, and then stuff for them to forage for in like the sand where they can rut around. That seems to give them a pretty natural, like when I read reports too, that seems to help get them in the mindset of like their instinctual fishy side. And the other thing that I've noticed in all fish, and I don't see it talked about a lot, is that they need the like biofilm or the infusoria or whatever it may be that their babies eat, the adults are smart enough to have evolved to know like whether or not that is in the water. And so if there's not anything there for their babies to survive off of, why would they waste all that calorie and energy and protein and months of foraging? Why would they waste all that energy um, on that, evolutionarily speaking, if it's not there, you know? And same with if their pond doesn't have enough flow or water moving that their babies can't get out of it and they're stuck in a little aquarium essentially, you know, that's where also using water that's just different than what you have. It doesn't matter if it's harder or softer, just slightly different from like another tank sometimes. If you have that flowing into your tank, when you do the water change, like day 2 or something, if they haven't spawned, just different because it's what happens when two different puddles connect and the water swirls around. You kind of get that. Some quarries, you know, murky water is another thing to consider. If there's some sort of sand, like the dust that's in sand and silt, maybe they feel safer laying their eggs when they can't be seen, you know, in that cloud. And some of them don't want to lay on glass. Some want to lay on rock. Some want to lay on wood. So give them a couple different surfaces as well. And, you know, being a species only tank does help. But yeah. Tie-dye Ron, huh? Right on. There was another guy named Joe Converse that drove up and down the West Coast since 1965, making batik, lost or wax dyeing and dripping it on and then making patterns and tying them. And also did like lost wax casting of rings and jewelry. And he had a V-dub bus that was all painted up, all hippy dippy, and people are always repainting it. But he lived in that bus, and when I was a teenager, he had a big white beard and gray hair, and he was probably 60 then, maybe older. But that guy, I got several tie-dyes from him, one in San Francisco, one in Vancouver, BC, and then a couple in Seattle, because I kept running into the guy at different concerts up and down, like a Tom Petty concert, and then like what was it? Oh, Neil Young, yeah. Jeff Kane, that's an interesting suggestion. Have you tried that? A single strand of yarn in the flow of the powerhead, kind of like eelgrass or something. Um, Atita, yeah. Also microscopy. Um, that's something that I'm probably going to do again soon because it hasn't frozen here for months now. It's been since like October. I thought we were gonna have a colder winter than we ended up having so far. It was 60 degrees like on around Christmas. So my ponds out back are flourishing with life that normally would have gone dormant this time of year. So I am thinking of doing a little bit of microscopy and just playing around with what I see out from the pond because it is way more interesting than what's in the fish tank. What's in the fish tank's cool, but I would really need to start doing agar culture like petri dishes and like identifying bacteria and fungal growths and things like that, and that's not going to fly in my house. Um, Evergreen Psyche, what's up? You're making a fish tank in your grandpa's house where they have, oh, they add water softeners. Haven't had a chance to check out other water parameters. Any advice? Yeah, I'd get a TDS meter and a KH or GH testing kit would be good, but really more so a TDS and a pH meter are good too. Any combo of those, all three is best. It's not that expensive. I think it's 10 or 15 for the TDS pen, which won't tell you what's in your water at all. It'll just tell you that there's things in your water. Then you can check your KH, GH, and you'll be able to figure out how many parts per million those are. Subtract that from your total TDS. Then you can figure out your nitrates, nitrites, if there are any, or ammonia. Subtract that. Figure out what your dosing level of chlorine should be. Usually it's around 20 to 50 parts per million, depending on how close you are to the plant. And then from that, you can figure out how, like, what your volatile organic load probably is. That's usually what's the remainder, or it could be something crazy like iron. If you have like red water or something, and you'd need a test kit to know for sure if that was the case. But regardless, then you can figure out if any of it mattered. Because if it's like, oh, there's a little bit of iron, there's a little bit of calcium, it's probably not a big deal for the fish tank. But if they have water softeners, they might just have a lot of calcium and nothing else, and they might just be getting calcium deposit like lime scale. But it could be, if their TDS is under 400, I wouldn't really sweat it. There's lots of people around the country with that. But if their TDS is anything above that, that's when I would start doing some detective work. If it's over, say, 1,200 or 1,000, that's when you probably just need to work on getting some different source for water or a filter. Let's see here. Call B&H Esoteric Goods. Yeah, their microscope thing. Ooh, glow in the dark tie-dye. That's awesome. The microscope stuff is cool. It's really hard to identify, though, what's what when it's the fact that there are so many little round things with little flagella or like little hairs that just spin in circles aimlessly in ponds. And there's like hundreds of species. So it's kind of hard to know. Even on the microcosm show where they have consultants that are like PhDs in the field, they're like, it's some sort of unicellular life. It's like, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, nice, Jeff. Yeah, RO water is the best if you can add that, or even just like go to your local store and get. I know it's can be expensive, but a lot of them have that crystal or like sparkles or one of the water companies if you're in the US or Canada, where you can get the 5-gallon carboy jug plastic one, and you can fill that for like $2.50 or $4 or whatever it ends up being. Sometimes there's a deposit, but that is a good way to get it for cheap. There's also places like Walgreens or even 7-Eleven sometimes where they'll have like a gallon of not in the fridge, just like their brand distilled water. And I've tested most of those brands that I come across with my TDS pen, and they actually are zero. So yeah. Oh, the chemical water softeners. Yes, I would not put those in your fish tank if you could help it. It depends what they're using, but if they're just using something acidic to keep it solvent and not flowing, then that's no big deal. But if they're using something that is a what do they call it? An emulsive that traps things together and then they fall to the bottom. That's where you can get nasty chemicals building up and things like that, or they could be using a chemical that is nasty in itself. But if you want, message me and we can do a little sleuthing and figure that out. Yeah, you can message me on what water softener they're using. If you can find out, like look at the jar, the bottle, or the system. Yeah. Yes, large TDS swings definitely plays a role. Yeah. All right, so I'm about to get out of here, but I do first quickly want to look at just for fun. Also, I think Dan's Fish, he's always getting cool stuff. Newest listings. Oh, they have micro worm starters now. That's cool. And diptail pencilfish, the equus. Those are real slim equus. Oh wow. They have Ivan Mikolji's fish. I need that. Oh, I need that. Even though it's gonna get a foot long. Where am I gonna put it? Oh my goodness, what a beauty as a baby. That's named after my partner in um, the Green Earth Alliance, a nonprofit we started. That's a great price on Pandagars. They're $25 at Aquarium Co-op right now for little teeny baby ones. Ooh, red. These I've not seen anywhere else. The red tail ones are incredible looking. And ooh, Betta cochina. I want. Oh, Baddest Ruber. These were at my local store too. Oh, I've never seen this. Wow, look at that Latin name. Phalictius quadripunctatus. So quadripunctatus means 4 points or 4 spots, and phalictius probably means either mouth or reproductive like fish. Interesting. So big mouth fish or big gonopodi. I wonder what it means. I'm just trying to totally guess. Ooh, gray Medaka fish. So these new Medakas, always cool. New mollies. Ooh, more black Medakas. These are really hard to find good quality black ones. And Equus Cories, yeah, they're so expensive, but they're beautiful. They really are. Minakapuru, these are a wild angelfish that are insanely beautiful. And oh wow, there's a rare one right there too. A little micro or mini dwarf cichlid. Lamias, these are really cool. Fun live bearers, easy to keep. Ooh, Santa Maria Endlers, also cool. I love all the live bears he's been having and the rare tetras too. These are what I want really bad too. This is a Phosphorus pygmaeus. So cool. I just don't have enough money for all this stuff. Oh, there's a red chin panchax. These are great. These are a hardy fish. I've kept those. The Amapa tetra, I've kept those. The red laser ones too. True Siamese algae eaters. I don't like this kind as much as I like the one that has the diamond spot on the tail. Those actually eat up to twice their weight in algae a day, which is nice. Oh, and these are just phenomenal too. And that doesn't look super skinny. Like some are just so unhealthy looking. Some people just can't keep weight on them. Wow, there's a beautiful looking fish too. Wow. Firemouth, but that's like a white one or like platinum looking one. Is it just young? I don't know. Wow. These are incredible when they grow up. They're blue and yellow and their eye glows fiery, not fiery, but icy blue. Um, Man, he's got some cool stuff. He's got those hummingbird tetras still. He's got the coral reds, dwarf spotted raspora. Those are great. It's a good price too. Oh, and the platinum half beaks. These are fun. These are the platinum silver version of the golden half beaks. And I'm surprised those weren't listed on the Geos list. I don't think they were, anyways. Firecracker trophy is interesting. Oh, the blue lamp eye killie from Tanganyika. Very cool. Driftwood cat Rio Nane. These are really cool too. Love those. gold laser cories. Who doesn't love those? So yeah, he's always got good stuff. The other thing is Aquatic Arts. They have had some pretty. Wait, did I spell that? I spelled that wrong, right? What's going on? www. I don't have to do the www anymore. I thought. Okay, there we go. But yeah, they've got these freshwater crabs. They might all be sold out right now. They're not actually all sold out. He told me he just got some in their own, the manager, but super beautiful. The crabs, and he is working on like a whole enclosure setup where you could get like a terrarium kit, like a vivarium, and food, like something that would you could culture like um little worms or something, and like the whole 9 yards, like everything you'd need for the crabs. And then you know they're also breeding them in house now too. This one's really pretty, the lavender with the cream colored arms. But there's just so many now of the Geosarma. There's so many different color varieties. And that's not even touching the ones that they're talking about getting in from India, from the Western Ghat Mountains, which are, there's, I think, reportedly like 200 or 150 different kinds. Another thing, Aquatic Arts needs to fix this. So it looks like their rice fish are $22. That is not what they are. They are 22 divided by 3. But they do that, and I'm like, you guys, it looks real bad. You know, look at that black Venezuelan cories. Ooh, still very expensive. I would assume those aren't that hard to breed. That'd probably be a good one to make money. These are an incredible fish too. Very cool, very pretty. Also, they have where is it? Bloodfin tetras are great too. That's not a good picture though. These are nice little plecos too. Did I miss it? The one that I was looking for, everyone's in there like, we're closed for the holiday season. Oh yeah, Panduro. Look at that's so cheap. $10. How much is a group of 3? $30. The Pandorini or Panduro Apistos are just beautiful. Oh wait, how much are they? That's got to be each. Oh my goodness. Featherfins, school of 3 for $15.99. Those things are $11.99, $12.99 locally. That's a great deal. Yeah, they've got quite a few fish at the moment. They got Golden Wonders. They've got more reticulated hill streams, CPDs. And then it looks like they start hitting the sold out list over here. But I know they're going to be getting in more guppies. And if you want something, you just need to get on the list. They also have their killer deal on tissue culture plants, which I don't think anybody's taken advantage. Hardly anybody I know has been mentioning it, but where is it? I bet it's on here somewhere. No, that's not what I wanted to do. But their tissue cultured plants right now are like, I think it's like $24 for 4 of them, which will start so many plants. It's wild. And there's some really interesting plants in there too. It's not just easy peasy plants either. It's some of them are do they have them separated by tissue? Yeah, they do. So yeah, buy 3 tissue cultures, get the 4th one free, and they're $7.99. So it's actually only $24 for 4. And look at this. They've got all different sorts, like mermaid weed and crystal Ludwigia, Rotala atra, temple plant, Cuban Ludwigia, Limnophilia aromatica, Bangladesh Rotala, which is another really nice one. Hydrocotyle tripartita. This stuff's $35 a portion locally. Bacopa salzmani, purple. This will turn that color, and it's a Bacopa. Super cool. I mean, they'll be getting in more, I'm sure, too, but they've got Starogine repens, Glossostigma, great carpeting plant. That's one of the easier carpeting plants. This one I've never kept. Gradiola viscidula, and then mini hairgrass, Bacopa caroliniana, Bacopa monieri, Limnophilia aromatica. I got that one from them. It smells so good. Pink or purple version of the temple plant. Yeah, so there's a lot going on between Dan's Fish and Aquatic Arts. So much going on, you guys. Well, guys, I got to get out of here soon. Hey, it's Kenny. What's up, Kenny? It's good to see you, brother. I did what you talked about. I promoted the video of my bettas, the history of betta domestication. We'll see how it goes. It's a pretty nerdy video. I should probably do like a dumb one, like the one I did today. That's like less work to engage with, but I want to show people what what I'm capable of researching, because I feel like if this channel was all smooth sailing, I didn't have to worry about finances whatsoever, I could do what I wanted. I'd go places and interview scholars and then show the fish's habitat and then keep the fish or get the fish, film the fish at it, wherever, and then, show the documents of any history related to them. Madagascar lace in Canada. It's not banned or anything as far as I know, so just keep looking. It is a bulb plant. Maybe nobody's flowering it in their greenhouses in Canada. I know Waterscapes has it, and they distribute to Canada, at least on the East Coast and Midwest. Flood City Fish Keeper, that's an interesting name. Need to order some Congo tetras from Dan. He did a video on why he won't bring them in again. Oh, yeah. Well, if you want to use the code Alex, I think now they're at 10% off for the first, or for all uses now, maybe. I don't know. It's changed between 5 and 10, but either way, it's some sort of discount. Hey, George, what's up? Oh, everybody's coming in now. As soon as I got to log off, we've been at it almost 2 hours now. A red leaf plant that grows easily. I suggest you go watch my video on 25 red and colorful plants. That if you do @Fishtree and then just search any subject, it will 50-50 come up with if I've got a video on it. I doesn't even come up with my own videos on my phone where you'd think it would be biased. When I say @Fishtree in the YouTube thing, and then Daniels, like it may only come up with half the videos I've done on Daniels, and that enrages me. Surf City, Cichlids, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I got to get out of here. If it's the last thing I ever do, but I do greatly appreciate you. I saw Linda's Farms in here. AG. So many good people are coming in. I'm losing my talkie voice. Starting to get into a grinder. But yeah, it was a really fun live stream, you guys. Linda, yeah, you were there the whole time. A lot of you guys have been. But thank you so much, guys. I hope your 2024 is off to a good start. Hope you liked the video I did today, like 30 fish that you might like. It's the top 10 selling fish of 22 to 23, the year 22 to 23, 2022 to 2023. And then also they had averaged it with the projections and or sales that had come in thus far from wholesalers this year from the first 3 quarters. So it should be really accurate. Yeah, Steven, thanks, man. Good to see you as always. Good to see all y'all. K Day, what's up? All right, you guys, thank you so much. Obviously, all you members means the world to me. Helps so much having consistency with the channel. And I try to keep it as cheap as they will let me, $1.99. I think now though there is a 99-cent level, but I can't undo that for everyone else. But maybe there's a way to like make it cheaper for everyone going forward. I'll look into it. But in any case, I hope. Oh yeah, yeah, Cora, we can get a video on hybrid fish. I have interbred quite a few different Danios myself. Yeah, a lot actually. Like 9 or 10 species of Danios I've crossed. And I've taken pictures and video of quite a bit of it, especially on like old live streams. So if I go comb through that, there might actually be quite a bit of info. Probably not the best video quality though, but yeah, I'll think about it. Remind me again of it. But yeah, I love Daniels. I know they're simple, but I love them. New local Austin, late. So good to see you though. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here because obviously my voice is going. But I will be back Friday, or if not Friday because of some health reason or whatever. I'll be back as soon as possible. But let me know if you have any questions. Just leave them on after this video is up, after 10 minutes or whatever when it loads. Leave the question there. And if you're watching this in the future, thanks for joining us as well, you guys. Feel free to leave your questions. I try to get to them. Lately, it's been a bit of a backlog. The channel's got a lot of people asking questions at the moment, but I'm trying to get through them. I'm hoping in the next 2 days I'll get caught back up on that. But much love, you guys. Thank you. It was a fun one, and I'll talk to you later.